I guess we're still on the Mountain Dew kick. Sorry, I guess it's what I grabbed, honestly. So we're on Disney here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happened on Raw. And it's either Raw from last night or Raw from tonight, depending on what happens. I'll tell you right now, on Monday afternoon, I did a 1 hour and 45 minute plus WrestleMania recap, and I also talked about the Hall of Fame ceremony. And that was supposed to be the video for Monday. Well, it's taken forever to upload. As of this very moment, it's 430 minutes left, which means it won't upload until about 6 a.m. this morning. Or tomorrow morning, depending on when I put this video up. So what may happen is after I get this recap of Raw done, I might try to cross the streams and upload at the same time using the iPod, so I could get this video of Raw out to you guys on Monday for Monday's video, and Tuesday's video would be the Hall of Fame and WrestleMania. Just kind of depends on if I can get things worked out that way. Oh, what a Raw we had this evening. Oh my god. It just ended, and the Raw after WrestleMania historically is known for, like I said on the video that you haven't seen yet, the reset button has been hit, and we're starting brand new storylines, we're starting brand new pushes, and we see brand new talent come up to the main roster. A lot of NXT influence on this edition of Raw, and it was really awesome because there was a lot of NXT talent that showed themselves and what they could do, and a lot of NXT talent had some nice vignettes to see that they're going to be debuting on the main roster sooner rather than later. So, we start off the show. We're still in New Orleans, by the way. Start off the show with the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Daniel Bryan. Of course, he's wearing the World Heavyweight Championship that, of course, he held before, and he is carrying the WWE Championship, which now has yes side plates on him, replacing the RKO ones that Randy Orton had when he was champion. He comes out, and he says, you know what, it's hard to point and to chant yes when you're holding two championships. So there's a sea of yes. I even wrote sea of yes. And the fans are chanting, you deserve it. Bryan says, you know, I may deserve it a little, but I think you guys out there deserve it a lot. See, yes wasn't a catchphrase. It was simply about using the power to make a change. Here comes Triple H and Stephanie. And obviously, they're a tad bit butthurt about what happened at WrestleMania. Triple H and Stephanie stand on the ring apron, and Trips won't get in the ring, and he says, you know what, I'm not going to step in the ring, because I don't want to do something that I'll regret. So Bryan's like, you're not going to step in the ring? And of course, he meets nothing but silence, and Bryan stands in his face and starts chanting yes, with both championships raised high in the air. Triple H's like, enjoy your moment, because that's all it is. It's just a moment. It won't last. It can't last. As a matter of fact, I'll make sure it won't last through this evening, because tonight, in this very ring, you will defend your newly won WWE World Heavyweight Championship against me. He says he's going to take the championship, and he's going to end Daniel Bryan. Not beat him, he's going to end him and his pathetic yes movement. Same thing he said in the go-home show of Raw right before WrestleMania. Throwing out the reality catchphrase again, he says, the reality is, this is my show, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So Bryan gets the crowd to chant yes yet again. Triple H and Stephanie scurry away, and we set up our main event, Daniel Bryan and Triple H in a rematch. So, this was an interesting way to start off the show. The fans obviously really excited about cheering for their hero winning the championship finally. And then, of course, the fans are wondering if they're going to put a roadblock in his path. And sure enough, Triple H does just that and makes himself the challenger for the main event in the rematch from last night's event. Or 2 nights ago, depending on when you're watching this. And like I said, I really enjoyed calling Bryan and Triple H, and you can catch that video on Pop, hopefully by the time that this video is uploaded. So, Batista wanders into the picture. He's like, you know what, what's going on? You know what, I didn't sign up for this. I earned a one-on-one title opportunity, not a 3-way. And here comes Randy Orton, and basically they whine a little bit, and Triple H is like, you know what, you both will get your rematches. But it's not tonight. Tonight's not your night. You're going to face off against Jimmy and Jey Uso for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And Orton and Batista are like, you know what, we don't care about the tag titles. I mean, Batista's a former tag team champion, doesn't matter. He doesn't care, he wants the World Heavyweight Championship. They both want the world title. And Triple H said, historically, no one can stop us when we're on the same page. The first seed's planted right there for Evolution's return. And a lot of people were talking about Evolution against another very dominant stable coming up for Extreme Rules. And you know what? I'll jump on that bandwagon as well, to be honest, because it makes total sense to me. But we'll talk about that later on. Speaking of stables that cannot be stopped right now. First match of the evening, it is the Wyatt family in 6-man tag team action taking on the unorthodox team of the Intercontinental Champion Big E, Sheamus, and John Cena. This, of course, is the WrestleMania crowd. The night after WrestleMania crowd. Same thing in most cases. And a lot of people that are on holiday from the United Kingdom. They like heels. A lot. And they're going to cheer for people that usually would not get over with a normal audience. Well, they would, but they have their niche audience that they get over with, not the entire crowd. I love this crowd. In some ways. In other ways, they can get annoying with like the random chants, chanting for Justin Roberts and JBL and Chris Jericho and stuff. The Jericho thing made sense because apparently they showed a retrospective promo when Jericho was brought up, so apparently that's the reason why. I don't know, I wasn't there live, obviously, I'm just going from hearsay. So, we get from the commercial break, takes us into the final bits of the match. Luke Harper's got a side headlock on Cena, and he pulls it into a modified front chancery, and he gets picked up for the AA, and he lands on his feet, boot in DDT from Harper, makes a cover 1-2 and a kick out, tagging to Eric Rowan, big scoop slam, leaping leg drop, and Cena is down, tagging to Bray Wyatt, huge pop, and the crowd are moving their arms to and fro and singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. 15,000 people singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, waving their arms back and forth. It was insane, to say the least. So he stomps away on Cena's ribs, and Cena explodes out of the corner with a clothesline. Both men are down. When he gets up, Bray lays Cena back down to the canvas with another Uranagi and makes a cover 1-2 and a kick out. He yells down and says, "What's your malfunction?" Someone watches movies, obviously. And repeated headbutts and tagging to Luke Harper and 2 stiff European uppercuts. And he gets backdropped out by John Cena, tagging to Rowan, and hot tag to Sheamus to a nice boo from the crowd. Axe handle, shove shoulder through the corner, and the high running knee knocks Bray Wyatt off the ring apron for good measure. Over the shoulder power slam on Eric Rowan, and hits the Finley roll on Luke Harper onto Eric Rowan. Battering ram to Harper and Rowan from the top, and Bray ends up getting knocked off the apron again. But not knocked to the floor, he just kind of got, like, a shot that kind of just staggered him a bit. Harper comes over, and Rowan with a big clothesline. So Sheamus comes in, gets nailed with that huge clothesline, tagging to Bray Wyatt, and hot tag to Big E. 2 clotheslines, ducks Bray Wyatt's clothesline, belly-to-belly suplex, and Bray's in trouble. He runs off the ropes for the big splash, drops the strap, setting up for the big ending, and he ends up getting shoved into a super kick from Harper, and Eric Rowan mows over John Cena with a shoulder tackle, and Harper nails Sheamus with a tope on the floor, and of course, Bray's upside down again, just like he was, and he does the crab walk right towards Big E. He gets up, and Bray's gonna kill you chant reverberates through the New Orleans crowd. And Sister Abigail ends at 1, 2, 3, and to the crowd's delight, "Follow the buzzards" is the last words that are said. This was a really good showing for the Wyatt family, and the crowd really want to cheer for them, and they do not like anyone in this match. Obviously, they don't like John Cena, that's a given. And they're not too high on Sheamus. Big E is starting to sour with everybody else, it seems like. The crowd's not cheering them as much as he used to be cheered. And speaking of people that should be cheered that are not, the after WrestleMania crowd gets Fandango with the gorgeous Summer Rae, and they are in for mixed tag team action against Santino Marella and Emma. So this match is really short. Fandango and Santino are in the ring, and Santino ends up doing a split-legged drop down and the hip toss off the ropes. And he basically tries to pull out the Cobra in order to get Santino to tag in Summer Rae, which tags in Emma. And then we go into the finish, which basically is Emma going to work on Summer Rae, locks her in the dilemma, the same move that Cameron was in when she lost her top on WrestleMania last night. And the Emma Mike sandwich in the corner, locks in the Emma lock, and Summer taps after Santino tries to stop Fandango from interfering by pulling out the Cobra, and yes, way too much double meaning in that last statement I just issued. And then, of course, we get another awkward date theater with Santino and Emma, and they're doing weirdness, and they're doing the Emma dance, and yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. Just filler for anything, and the crowd was doing the Emma dance. They were fandangoing, he was over. And then we got a huge segment from the internet would call the most hated man on the planet right now, and that is Brock Lesnar. So Lesnar comes out with Paul Heyman, of course. And Heyman, of course, has to gloat. Why? Because he's Paul Heyman. He says, you know what? We hate to be the ones to say we told you so, but we told you so. And then he shows the t-shirt and says, we even put it on a t-shirt. It's like, eat, sleep, break the streak. I mean, come on. Brock Lesnar is here to shock the WWE Universe and put tears in the eyes of children. That's a brilliant line, by the way. He's like, you know what? Let's shoot from the hip. 5 seconds after he walked through the curtain, The Undertaker collapsed last night. And Vince McMahon left to go to the hospital with him. And even missed the main event of the show. Which is funny, because so did Brock Lesnar. You had to leave that out, didn't you, Paul? So, Undertaker had a severe concussion. Brock would have broken his neck, or cracked his skull, or beat him until the streak was dead. JBL, Cole, and Lawler, and all the fans in the Superdome, not the Silverdome, Hogan, gave a standing ovation last night. And why? Why not cheer the winner? For last evening, The Undertaker was a loser. The winner was Brock Lesnar. Each of you out there are like the people in the locker room. A bunch of wannabes. See, they looked down upon Brock Lesnar. They disrespected Lesnar. It doesn't matter, because Lesnar doesn't respect anyone. He barely tolerates me. Daniel Bryan, John Cena, The Undertaker. They never fought in an octagon. There's only one man that did. All of them are wannabes. Brock is the one. And who's an NCAA champion and the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion? The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, they're all wannabes. Who tried to break the streak? Was it Randy Orton? Was it Shawn Michaels? Was it even Triple H? No, they're all wannabes. Brock Lesnar is the one in 21-1. See, there's Hall of Famers, and legends, and superstars. The key to all those phrases? Plural. They're all plural, all together. There's only one that's above all the rest. The only one is Brock Lesnar. He leaves the ring. Dear God. Say what you want about everything. And of course, my opinions on what happened last night, they're going to be on the channel tomorrow. But I will say right now, this was a money promo right here. I think if they do not capitalize on Brock being the most hated man in the company right now, it's a travesty. I think they need to rush him into a program with somebody. Now, there's money to be made with him against The Rock, to be honest. If they want to do that at WrestleMania 31, they can. Or they could go with the match that I really want to see, and that's Lesnar and Bryan. Probably what could end up being the Kurt Angle Brock Lesnar wrestling match of this generation. So yes, I enjoyed the promo, and Brock didn't really have to say anything. Heyman just let his words do the talking for Lesnar. He called out the smarts in the crowd, or the supposed smarts in the crowd, and he did not suck up to anybody. He just let everybody know the truth. He called out everyone, said they're a bunch of wannabes. Brock Lesnar's the only one to get it done. I like this promo a lot. So a lot of ferocity from Paul Heyman. I use that word a lot lately, and that's pretty much what I've seen so far. And it seems like the best would be yet to come. And it truly would be. So we get our first promo for the return of Bo Dallas. And I'm really happy to say that I'm really excited about Bo Dallas coming to WWE again. This time, not with the weird program with Wade Barrett. No, he's actually coming in to use his NXT promos, which basically are kind of like a motivational speaker that isn't as genuine as he claims to be. I am a Bo-liever, without any doubt. And later on in the show, there was a really awesome set of promos for Adam Rose. So, just this quickly, the Exotic Experience, the Adam Rose Experience, the Exotic Express, all of this, the party that will never stop, will be coming to WWE. Already. I mean, Kruger's just changed to Adam Rose now, and already he's going to be in WWE. That is an awesome turnaround. And I don't know what that says for the fact of people like Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze and Corey Graves and people that are on the NXT roster now, and they are going to be the next ones that are going to be coming up. Along with the Ascension, Connor and Victor. I'm sure they'll be coming up sooner rather than later. Then again, tonight, and this is a segue, folks, they really showed how much they cared about the tag team titles. Because WrestleMania's over, they don't have to put any emphasis on them now. Just have to wait a couple weeks until closer to Extreme Rules, like, oh god, we need to put a tag team title match on there. Usos versus, Real America. No, I can't do that. They're already split up. Usos versus three-man band. Yeah, no, that's never gonna work. Usos and Rybacks, sure. Usos and Rybacks, Extreme Rules, yay. I think they should bring in the Ascension by then, to be honest. Or you do something that a lot of people call tonight, and I think it's a brilliant idea, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So we get our match. It is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Jimmy and Jey Uso taking on Randy Orton and Batista. So, yeah, they just obliterated the Usos, left them laying. We saw the snakebite DDT on the floor, powerbomb on the steps on the other Uso, and Batista and Orton are in the ring like, you know what, we don't want your consolation prize. Here's what needs to happen, though. And this is set up really well with what happens in the main event tonight. And I know I'm going to Nolan it up a little bit, but I have to in order to make my point. Here's what needs to happen. At Extreme Rules, we need to find a way to, or on Raw or SmackDown. Extreme Rules would work, but I think Extreme Rules you might have to have another match with someone else. You have Batista and Randy Orton win the WWE Tag Team Championships from the Usos. Who challenges them? Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins of the Shield. So what do you do there? You set that up, and you set up the Shield against Evolution. And if you want to throw anybody in there, you throw Kane in there and send him after Ambrose's United States Championship. Now we have a program to work for the next couple of months for our Extreme Rules and Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, which is a brilliant maneuver, to be totally honest. We saw the return of another superstar that we haven't seen in quite a while, and that is Rob Van Dam. And of course, Rob Van Dam faced off against Damien Sandow. Oh, how Sandow has gone down so far in such a short amount of time. I hope they do something with him. I mean, if not, then Sandow can, if he leaves WWE, maybe he can work for Jarrett's new promotion, which actually they're starting to talk about right now. And, you know, it's got an interesting gimmick to it. I like Jarrett. I like Jarrett as a person, and I think that actually it could work, this new promotion. A lot of people aren't really sold on the name, to be totally honest, but, you know, I don't have an issue with Global Force Wrestling. I think it works. I think it fits. I think it's powerful. I think it definitely just like doesn't roll off the tongue, but it's something that feels like a wrestling promotion. It feels like something important. And I think GFW may be where Damien Sandow or Aaron the Idol Stevens, depending on what he wants to call himself when he leaves the company. I think right now, with all the call-ups from NXT, I think that there's going to be a lot of superstars that are probably will not be on the roster too much longer. I'm not exactly sure who that's going to be yet. Maybe Sandow will stick around and be the JTTS, the Jobber to the Stars, but I don't know. I mean, I like Damien Sandow a lot. There's an upside with him, but WWE just doesn't see anything, apparently. No Alberto Del Rio on the show either. Obviously, Del Rio is pretty much 1 foot out the door right now, so they're not really doing much with him, and I understand that if they're not going to do anything with him because he's about to leave. But do something with him on the show, and there was no Shield on the show until the very end, so I pretty much just said that too quickly. So, Van Dam and Sandow had a short television match. I mean a very short television match. 3 knee strike, side California leg sweep, Kobito Akiet. That's the end. Van Dam ends up taking over, hits a spinning heel kick, and he knocks Sandow off the ring apron. Sandow gets planted on the barricade. Van Dam hits a corkscrew leg drop for a huge ECW chant. And he rolls him back in the ring. Sandow with a headbutt to try to get something out of it. And ducks the clothesline, spin kick, rolling thunder, 5-star frog splash, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back, Rob Van Dam. Hopefully he does something with his run in WWE this time around. I don't know exactly who he's going to be working with. I don't know at this point. I don't know who you program Rob Van Dam against at this rate. I would actually stick him on Dean Ambrose in the United States title. Those matches would be awesome. But I don't know at this point. I don't know if you're going to give him a title opportunity or put him even in a prominent program. I think Van Dam's just happy to have a job again and happy to be wrestling again on television after he left TNA. So, of course, the UK crowd wants this, and it has to happen. Wade Barrett shows up, and Wade Barrett's going to face off against Rey Mysterio. And Barrett comes out with a glorious cape, and he tells Mysterio that he has some bad news, and Mysterio just attacks him at the bell. And whip him in, ducks the clothesline. Mysterio turns the satellite head scissors to the floor, and he nails the lawn dart splash, which is basically the, the Lawn Dart Splash would be an interesting name. I think I'm actually going to rename it on this video and call it the Slip and Slide Splash. The reason why is because he runs and he dives under the bottom rope and splashes onto Wade Barrett like he is a pool with a crocodile above it. So just like a slip and slide. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's a slip and slide splash. Say that 5 times fast. And he tosses him in. Shoulder block in the midsection, goes up top, and he goes for a head scissor and into a tip up, and Barrett kicks him in the midsection. Mounted punches on Mysterio on the floor, on the canvas, and whip in, charges in, gets the boot up to a boo from the crowd. Barrett hits Winds of Change, and 1-2, and Mysterio kicks out. He tosses him over the top buckle, and he's laid upon the top rope at this point. Charges in with a big field goal kick, and he climbs up, going for a superplex, gets blocked. Mysterio tries to fight off, knocks Barrett off the top rope, hits the seated senton, and the satellite into a DDT, 1-2, and a kick out. Goes for the 619. He goes up top, and he gets crotched by Barrett. Barrett rings his bell with a bullhammer, and 1, 2, 3. Bad News Barrett wins the match, and very awesomely so, because Wade Barrett is somebody they really should be focusing a lot more on, and they're not. Barrett's gold on the mic, without any question. But Barrett still has some gas in the tank. A lot of gas in the tank. He's a young guy, so obviously he's got a long time left in this business. That being said, I've said all along, since back in the Nexus days, that Wade Barrett was going to be something in WWE, and I still stick to this opinion that Wade Barrett will be something in WWE. Now, sooner rather than later. This Bad News Barrett gimmick is going to be the springboard to a new, renewed push for Wade Barrett. And that's what should happen, and that's what will happen. Speaking of people that I've been trumpeting for a long time, we finally get our Raw in-ring debut of the Bulgarian Brute, the super athlete Alexander Rusev, with the ravishing Lana, and that's what she's being referred to. And facing, you know what, I saw Rusev come out, I'm looking at myself, I was like, okay, fine, he's got trunks now, he doesn't look like the Tasmaniac anymore. So, I'm like, please don't be Zack Ryder, please be someone else other than Zack Ryder. I see the Last Resort tights, I'm like, dang it, why? So Zack Ryder, of course, is his opponent. I should have known this, given the fact that Zack Ryder's been working with Rusev a lot on house shows, probably to get the timing down a little bit in this match. And Ryder gets mowed over with a standing savate kick, and he puts him on the ropes, and he barrels into him with repeated knees, hits the fallaway Samoan drop, and he high crotches him and nails a, nails a side slam and locks on the Accolade, and he has to tap out. So Rusev wins. Just a squash, just to introduce the crowd to Rusev, who already has been introduced via the run in the Royal Rumble this year, which I also talked about on this channel in January. So we also have to get another big moment, given the fact this is the Raw after WrestleMania, so big things happen, and we get another, apparently now, an ambassador of the WWE, Warrior himself, you know, the ultimate Hellboy. And I swear to you, he looks so much like Ron Perlman, it's not even funny. So he comes out with his duster jacket on, he shakes the ropes like old, fans going crazy, and he's getting ready to talk, and he pulls an Ultimate Warrior mask, a paint mask, of his infamous face paint out of his pocket, and he puts it on, and he goes into his warrior mode. He snorts, which is great. He says that basically you don't become a legend on your own. You see, he basically says that the fans have made the Ultimate Warrior a legend. He sees potential legends in the back with warrior spirit, and the fans will end up making them legends as well. The spirit of the warrior will run forever. And he bombs out. Don't know if we're getting weekly warrior promos or not. I doubt it. But made sense. He was already in New Orleans, so why the heck not? So then we get a really awesome segment. A segment that if you were following me on Twitter at @SirOwenDisney, you would know that I called this to happen last night at WrestleMania. I said it was one of those crazy predictions. I said that after AJ went over in the Divas Invitational, Vicky would say, haha, I got one last opponent for you. Enter Paige. And Paige would win the Divas Championship at WrestleMania in her first match. Well, didn't happen last night. AJ did go over, like I predicted, but there was nothing else. There wasn't a final challenger. Vicky just bombed out dejected because her plan backfired. 14 divas couldn't beat AJ. So, that was it. But tonight, Sir Owen became a prognosticator. So AJ comes out with the Divas Championship with Tamina Snuka in tow, gets on the mic, and she knows how to push the buttons. Especially of this smart crowd in New Orleans that obviously started chanting CM Punk the second she got in the ring. And her promo was very reminiscent of another promo we heard so long ago. AJ says, for 295 days, I've been Divas Champion. The longest reigning Divas Champion of all time. And last night at WrestleMania, the Divas proved I am the hero of this story. It was AJ versus the world. 13-1 odds. And I overcame all the odds. I started out a poor girl in New Jersey, and now I'm the best diva in the world. The savior of the Divas division. I am the Divas division. Familiar music to anyone that's an NXT fan is heard, and Paige shows up. Just like I said last night she would. She says she's congratulating AJ, and AJ's like, what are you doing here? If you were not aware, Paige is the current women's champion of NXT. And she doesn't have a butterfly belt, she has a women's championship. And she's like, you know, I don't need your congratulations. Why don't you run off to NXT where you belong? I don't like being interrupted. So basically there's some back and forth, and AJ's like, you know what? I'm going to give you your 15 minutes of fame. I'm paraphrasing here. And I'm going to give you a match tonight. I don't care if you're ready or not, because Paige seems kind of timid about it. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really ready for this yet. She's even out in her gear, but she's not ready to wrestle. Anyway, so she comes out and she basically says, you know, I was like, I'm not really ready for this. Like, forget this. You're going to face me tonight, and you know what? As a present to everyone else, I'm putting the Divas Championship on the line. I tweeted at that exact moment. I was like, we got a new champion, folks. And I called it first. So, bell sounds, AJ Pearl Harbors her from behind, and whip in, gets a back elbow to Paige, and she skips around like normal, and hits the spinning back kick, and she ends up locking Paige in the Black Widow. Looks like Paige is fading, but no, she's hanging on. She's hanging on, and hanging on for what reason? Because she has determination to make something out of her official WWE debut. And what happens? She counters it and lands AJ on her feet, hits the page turner. It didn't look the greatest, but they'll have plenty of opportunities to run with this. And a 3 count later, Paige is the new Divas Champion. So, yes, I called it. Anyway, I will say a couple things right off the top. Number 1, Paige and AJ is the Divas feud the WWE have been waiting for since day 1. And it's going to be phenomenal. They didn't touch in NXT. So, we've been building this for a long time. And now that it's finally happening, we're going to get a long program between AJ and Paige. And this is what I think really needs to happen. Think about it from this perspective. AJ lost the Divas Championship. By winning the Divas Championship, she has a second championship. Paige has 2 belts now. She has the NXT Women's Championship, and she has the Divas Championship. What do? Title unification? I think it makes the most sense. And what do you unify the championships with? Oh yes, something that real wrestling fans have wanted for a long time. We get rid of the butterfly belt permanently, and we bring back to prominence the old WWE Women's Championship. And Paige has both sets of championships. So she makes that into one title which she wears, and that is the old WWE Women's Championship. What does this mean for Paige in NXT? Well, I mean, she obviously could still be in NXT, and this may be a short reign. I doubt it, though, because they really seem adamant about putting over the NXT talent at this point. The people that have already debuted, and the people that will be debuting in the near future, kind of like Bo Dallas and Adam Rose. So, then we get another awesome shock in the history of shocks. The crowd's, worn out because they're getting shock after shock, and they're going crazy every 5 seconds. Here comes Hulk Hogan. And he's going to present the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal official trophy to Cesaro. He says, in the biggest, baddest WrestleMania of all times, in the Superdome, the fans popped for it, we made history. But one of those moments I treat above the rest, and that was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Fans start chanting for Cesaro. They broke it apart. He says, I knew the big man upstairs was looking down, and basically said that from now on, every single year at WrestleMania, we will have someone else trying to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. There wasn't 30 guys in the ring, there was 31. And that one was the winner, and that man is Cesaro. So Cesaro comes out wearing a sparkly black jacket, like he is old school AWA Jobber to the Stars. But still, it's Cesaro, so he makes it work. He comes out with Zeb Coulter. He shakes Cesaro's hand, does Hogan. And he says, congrats, brother. Coulter takes the mic. He says, oh, you know what? I'm going to speak for you. I'll let you say your piece, but I'm going to speak first. He's like, I brought you in as a real American. Saying this in front of Hulk Hogan, mind you, is hilarious. He says, I made you a Zeb Coulter guy. I should have knew right there something was up. The wording right there was a little familiar, if you will. Cesaro grabs the mic. He says, no, I'm sorry, Zeb. I'm not a Zeb Coulter guy. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. Place just erupts. Paul Heyman comes out and calls himself the advocate for the King of Swing. Stevie Richards on line 1 back in the ECW days. So, Swagger's a sore loser and knocks Cesaro out of the ring, and he destroys the Andre Trophy like he's Bad News Brown at WrestleMania 2, and Cesaro ends up out of the ring. He sends Swagger out of the ring with vicious Swiss uppercuts, and when we get back to live action, we actually have the match that I was saving for Extreme Rules, Cesaro and Jack Swagger. So, Swagger gets caught off the ropes with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, 1-2 and a kick out. The deadlift side salto connects. Swagger goes to the floor because he knows what's next, obviously. Cesaro has been working with him so long, he knows what his former partner is going to do next. So Cesaro nails him with a knee, tosses in Swagger, but Swagger catches him off guard with a neck snap against the top rope, but wastes too much time to capitalize, and he gets caught with a back elbow by Cesaro. He goes up top, Swagger runs up with the run-up belly-to-belly superplex, 1-2, and Cesaro kicks out. Repeated knees in the corner, and big right hands and big left hands, Cesaro peppering him out of the corner. Swagger bails him out and locks on the double chicken wing, pushes him to the ropes, kidney forearm, and he does this on the opposite side of the ring, kidney forearm yet again. He goes for the third time, gets stopped with a vicious Swiss uppercut twice, and the third time is not the charm because Swagger takes him down literally, 1-2 and a kick out. Goes for the Swagger bomb, and Cesaro gets both boots up in the air. He nails the from the apron into the ring superplex, only gets a 2 off of it. The charging Swiss uppercut from corner to corner, 4 times, and the final one nails Cesaro nails him right in the back of the head. Swagger goes to the floor because, of course, Cesaro was signaling for the giant swing. Coulter stops him, and Heyman gives what's left of the Andre Trophy to Cesaro, and Zeb's like, you know what, forget this, live again to fight another day, and Swagger gets counted out, so, yeah. You got Paul Heyman, who is extremely hated, because of his association with the most hated man on the face of planet Earth right now, Brock Lesnar. Now you have Paul Heyman baby-facing it up with Cesaro. So what is Cesaro now? Is he a face? Is he a heel? Is he a tweener? What is he? Doesn't matter because he's awesome and he'll face anybody. And on SmackDown, which will be taped tomorrow night, or tonight, depending on when you're watching this video, he will face off against The Big Show. This will be aired on Friday Night SmackDown on Sci-Fi, and I will be recapping that later this weekend, which I'm excited about doing, to be honest. And yes, it was a really interesting match and a great development. So a lot of people are saying Cesaro needs a mouthpiece, and okay, put him with Dutch. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I have no issue with that. Dutch is awesome. Well, Dutch and Swagger need to stay together. So Zeb and Swagger need to stay together as a tandem. It works for me. Cesaro needed a mouthpiece. I said a long time ago Cesaro needed a really good mouthpiece. And I said Paul Heyman a long time ago, and people were like, no, and you're crazy. I was like, no, it makes perfect sense. It really does. It's like, no, Cesaro doesn't have any background in ECW or anything like that. It's like, that's not what Paul Heyman guy means. Come on, people. Think about it. It's about elevating talent that doesn't necessarily have the greatest mic work. And, of course, the only person that completely negates that statement is CM Punk, because obviously he has the mic ability, so he's fine. It's like when I used to manage Jock Sampson. Jock doesn't need a mouthpiece, but it's cool to have a manager because a manager can garner more heat. That's what a manager's job is to do, is to garner more heat for his charge. I've done it before, trust me, I know. When the manager gets knocked in their ass, everybody goes crazy, especially if you build it, you tease it so much that the fans want to see it, and you keep just taking it away, and finally, when that manager gets knocked down, the fans explode, and that is how you build something, folks. Trust me, I know. So, yeah, like I said, back in my days, back in the good old days, when Sir Owen Disney was in the wrestling business, I saw a little Wilbur Atkins in there, that's a shout out to people. I will say right now that, yes, my tag team attacked Tracy Smothers, and they held Tracy Smothers while I choked his daughter with my tie in the center of the ring, and the fans wanted to kill me. And when she kicked me in the face, the fans exploded. So yes, that's what we call building something, folks, and that's exactly what we're doing. Is Cesaro face? Is he heel? Is he tweener? It doesn't matter. Cesaro's awesome. And the fans are learning this rather rapidly. I still wish he would switch to a different theme, though. I'm not a big fan of the We the People theme. I miss the old Swiss Superman theme, the old Cesaro theme that's now stuck in my head again because I just mentioned it. So yeah, really awesome way to elevate, and I think the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal for years to come was going to be something that's going to elevate a future superstar, not necessarily someone already established yet. That's what I believe this Battle Royal is going to be doing for the years to come. So we get to our main event, but before the main event, Stephanie has got the Shield and Kane. in the back. And it's the first time we've seen the Shield. And Stephanie's, you know what? We don't care about what happened at WrestleMania with the Outlaws getting squashed like a grape. Excuse me. And she doesn't care about The Undertaker losing, so that's Kane. He says, basically, the Shield and Kane need to work together to make sure Triple H leaves the building tonight with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Kane calls the Shield pawns, says they're expendable. Stephanie stops him numerous times and says, you know what? The injustice here is the Yes Movement itself. You guys are all about stopping injustice. Well, I'm about Triple H being the World Heavyweight Champion, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Tonight, Triple H wants to be champion, and he will get it. Do I make myself clear? Kane's like, yeah. And Roman Reigns says Crystal. And of course, the Shield tweeted basically they're going to do what's best. We know what that means. And we get our main event, which is the MVP of the WWE, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan defending against the Game Triple H before the match even starts. Randy Orton and Batista come out. They attack Bryan. RKO. Batista bomb. Leave him laying. Kane comes out. Nope. Choke slams Daniel Bryan. Here comes Triple H and Stephanie finally. So, they call for a referee to get in the ring, and basically they threaten his job in order to ring the bell, and he does. He picks up Bryan, Shield music hits, and here comes WWE's version of the Bullet Club, and they're wearing the masks, of course, just like the Bullet Club, and Kane, Orton, and Batista get on the apron. The Shield end up getting on the apron eventually. Triple H is standing in the middle and stopping the Shield from doing anything. Kane, Orton, and Batista enter the ring. Triple H holds them back, and then holds back Kane specifically. He says, you know what, this isn't happening. So, Roman Reigns ends up spearing Triple H, and Orton and Batista get sent to the outside. Rollins and Ambrose with double topes on Orton and Batista on the floor. Kane's got Roman Reigns, hits the choke thrust, and he gets nailed with a Superman punch. Triple H is surrounded by the Shield, and he's like, back off, guys, don't do something you'll regret. And he walks right into the fire-breathing knee from Daniel Bryan. They drag Triple H out of the ring, and the Shield and Daniel Bryan, I can't believe I'm saying this, celebrate as we go home for Raw with Triple H saying, you started a war you cannot win. Here's that eye thing again. Started last time. So, yeah, that was really interesting. Interesting way to end the show. And I'm telling you right now, this is now setting up Daniel Bryan and the Shield against Evolution and Kane for a match at Extreme Rules. And, hold on. God bless. Alright, that's a lot better. So, got something in my eye. I don't know what it is. It's driving me insane. Ooh, make a wish. The thing is, you also have to understand that, like I said, this is the reset button. And this is the new NXT of WWE. This is the next WWE. And this is the future of WWE. It's not the reality era, it's the NXT era. Because think about it from this perspective. You got Rusev makes his debut. Then you have Emma's already on the roster. And then you have the Wyatt family, who had an extensive time in NXT. They're tops now. The Shield is the same way. Don't forget, Seth Rollins is the first ever NXT champion. Paige comes in and wins the Divas Championship. And of course we have Bo Dallas to re-debut. And Adam Rose to debut. So yeah, this is awesome. And this is great. Oh, good God. And this will stop after the video's over. Like, don't worry, I'm fine. It's just my eye hurts. So yeah, it was a really awesome show and a great way to kick off the post-WrestleMania era of WWE. I like this direction a lot. No Sting tonight. It's okay. No issues there. Don't know if we'll see Sting for a while, or Sting will end up going back to TNA, or end up working for Jeff Jarrett, working for Global again. Maybe Global Force Wrestling may end up being where Sting ends up at some point. Who knows? We'll see where it goes on from that. I will say right now, if I want to talk about the show from perspective, I will say that must not miss the six-man tag opening. And the promos tonight were solid. I will say Brock and Paul Heyman's promo, Heyman's money promo, good God, that was insane. I would say check out AJ and Paige. I know they're going to have a lot more time in their program to do a better match, but that was just a short match. It was a grand stage. It was the debut of Paige. So obviously, there had to be a little bit of hesitation. And like I said, the page turner wasn't the crispest it's ever been, but it was okay. AJ sold like a champ, and now, after she has this program with Paige, she can go on a nice little vacation and spend time with her fiance. It makes total sense, right? So, yeah, Cesaro being a Paul Heyman guy, that was awesome. And check out the aftermath of Daniel Bryan Triple H, where the Shield came in and wrecked shop. That was awesome. So, yeah, this show was great in every single way possible. I very much enjoyed the WrestleMania after edition of Raw. It was really good, really enjoyable show, and definitely check it out if you get a chance to see it. So, wrestling fans, I will join you yet again tomorrow, or today, depending on when you're watching this video, for my WWE 2014 Hall of Fame ceremony and WrestleMania itself recap. That's coming up. Like I said, it's about an hour and 45 minutes plus, so you can check that out. It's not exactly 2 hours, it's close to it. I'll talk about all the matches and my opinions on the matches, and maybe later in this week you'll get Ben and Will's opinion, so I'll be shooting those out very soon. So we're also going to be talking on SmackDown this week, and NXT actually is not going to be Wednesday because I already talked about NXT live last Thursday night, so won't be doing that this week because I'm actually going to be watching Draft Day with AJ, so NXT and SmackDown will probably be combined like normal for Saturday's video. That's what it looks like right now. And, of course, that is the wrestling content you're going to get this week, all the way up to next week's Raw. Now we're on the road to Extreme Rules, so it's always a never-ending battle in WWE, and it's always entertaining. So, yes, very enjoyable show. I liked it. A+. Really nice to see the young talent get put over. I still think that Fandango and Big E will start their new program on SmackDown this week. I really think it will happen, and it will lead to Fandango winning the Intercontinental Championship. Ambrose and Kane would make sense going to have a nice little feud for the U.S. Championship, given the fact that we're started the seeds for Evolution against the Shield tonight. Just got to take the titles off the Usos, put them on Orton and Batista, and we start everything right there. So yeah, it's going to be awesome to see where we go from here. But excellent night. Kudos to WWE for putting out 2 awesome nights, technically 3 awesome nights in a row of great, top-grade programming. So, as usual, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, and help spread the word about Pop. If you'd like to like our Facebook fan page, it's Sir Owen Disney Pop. Be my friend on Facebook, send me a friend request, it's Owen Disney. If you'd like to tweet me, it's at Sir Owen Disney. Last but certainly not least, you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions, you want to talk wrestling with me, Universal, Disney, theme parks in general, want to talk wrestling with me, fine, go right ahead. Or if you'd like to be a popcast yourself, send a video, if you want to do that, to SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls up there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.